Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariel and I make videos about books. So it's that time of the month again. Not that time of the month. Time for our monthly wrap up. That was a rough introduction. Yeah, I read a pretty standard amount of books this month. Standard for me. I think I read like 7 or 8. And yeah, we're just gonna talk about them. I stuck very close to my TBR, so if you've watched that video, these books are not gonna be a surprise to you. And I talked a lot about what each of the books were in that TBR video, so go look at that, my September TBR, if you want a more like in-depth discussion of them, because I'm kind of just gonna say my opinions on them, not what they're about. So first this month, we're gonna talk about a Kindle book that I finished. I finished The Last Mrs. Parrish, which is on Kindle Unlimited, which is so fun. And I really liked it. I think it would be like a 4-star for me. I enjoyed it all throughout, but the ending was weird to me. Like I don't know why, but like the last like 20 something pages, I'd say, felt like they were written by a different author. It was so weird. It just, the tone shifted really weirdly. And I don't know if that was just me or what, but it felt strange. So that like bumped it down to a 4-star, but I loved it. So many twists and turns. It was very easy to get through. I was just like, couldn't put it down. So overall, a good book. Then we're on to the physical books that I read. So first, very exciting. I think I'm gonna make some sort of video talking about these, so I'll probably expand on it more there, but I loved this. So unexpected. I'm not a big fantasy person, but I think I'm going to become one because this was so good. I was in doubt for like half of it, like the beginning half. I was like, nah, okay, like I don't, where's the action, what's going on? And then the end happened, that like a second half of the book I was flipping through. I needed to know what was happening. And it got so good, and now I'm so excited to read the rest of the series. It blew me away. I would say this is like a 4.5 just because I wasn't super into it until the second half, or a 4. Then I'm having a video about this, so again, not gonna touch on it too much, but the American Roommate Experiment. I don't know why I read this. I don't know, because I wasn't a huge fan of the Spanish Love Deception, and yeah, I think it was just the cover. The cover got to me, and I was like, that's so cute. Also, it sounded like a slightly more interesting premise, and I will say I liked the girl character in this. I liked her. I liked her a lot, and way more than Alina. But the guy character, again, did not like. I liked him even less than Aaron, and I didn't really like Aaron. He was kind of like a blob to me. He had no personality. This man was so annoying, and the whole story just like lagged. And there's a lot I could say about this, and I will probably say it in my video, but I'm just not an Elena Armas stan. Like, I can't deal with her writing. I did like, there's like a little subplot in this, and that was the most interesting part of this book. That was good, I guess. So that would win it, I guess, like a 2.5 star. A little 50%. Still failing, but like close to getting a D. Then I attempted to read this, The Signature of All Things by Elizabeth Gilbert. who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. I have not read Eat, Pray, Love, and I don't plan on it, but I read City of Girls by her, and I liked that. So I thought, okay, and I got this from a thrift store like 2 years ago, 3 years ago for like $1, and I was like, it's time to read it. If you watch my September TBR, then it was a blind pick that I picked from my shelf. So I was really pushing myself to read this, and I did. I got like I don't know, probably like 100 pages in, and I was like, I can't do this. I never DNF books, guys. I never do, but I could not go any farther with this. It is written like it takes place in the 1800s, and it feels like a novel that took place or was written in the 1800s, which I did not like, because if I'm going to read a novel that it feels like it was in the 1800s, I'm gonna read a novel that was like actually written in the 1800s. You know what I mean? I love a good historical fiction, but even with historical fiction, the writing is contemporary and draws you in that way. This writing was like, it felt old, and I don't want that. I'm gonna waste my brain power on actual classics, not Miss Gilbert. Also, this book was kind of racist. Like, she literally, there's a part where I don't know if I misread this or what, but I'm pretty sure there's like a part where she says that this like rich man literally owns a slave that he like treats like his pet. And I was like, this is not okay to even write about. Like, I would excuse those things slightly more if it was in a classic from someone actually written in the 1800s, because I'd be like, okay, well, different time. Strange, but different time. They don't know. She knew. She knew that was wrong, and she still put it in there. Or she would call, like, as the person is traveling to different places, then instead of like if he would go to Hawaii, then he would call the foreigners that lived there, the like native people, he would call them Indians. No matter where he went, he could be in Hawaii, he could be in the Samoas, and he's always calling them Indians. He's not like, and the native Hawaiians and the Samoans. He's like, and then the Indians here and the Indians here, because he's racist. He's like one of the main characters, and that did not endear me at all. And this book was so bad. Don't read it. I only got 100 pages in again, but from what I read in the reviews after I decided to give it up, it does not get better. So, bad book. Don't read this. Ew. Then we have a 5-star, The House Across the Lake. This was my favorite Riley Sager book that I've read. I love all of his books, but this was on another level. I can usually guess the plot twists in his book pretty early on. This one I could not, and the plot twist was incredible, and I loved the main character so much, and I loved the side characters, and it was so interesting, and the setting was so fun because it's at a lake, and I loved this book so much. It's like literally going to be one of my top books of the year. Read it. Read it right now. Next, we have another thriller. I read thrillers for like a week for a different video, so I talk a bit more about these in that video whenever that will be posted. Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. So I have a love-hate relationship with Alice Feeney. Her writing is very like, I don't want to say lyrical, like she just uses a lot of literary devices in her writing, and to me it can be a bit overkill. I much prefer writing like Riley Sager that's very like to the point, keeps you intrigued and keeps you flipping the pages. Her, like, she puts so many metaphors, so many like little like philosophy little tidbits in there. Okay, so like she'll be just talking about the book, I mean not about the book, the setting and the plot and what's going on, and then she'll throw in a line like this: "We haven't spoken since before she got married, and we both know why. Families are like snowflakes, each and every one unique. Rose is happier than ever to..." So she like stops the flow by like inserting these cliche phrases, and it really like, I don't know, messes with the flow of the reading. And she kind of did that with Rock, Paper, Scissors as well, but once she actually like gets into the plot, she definitely stops with those little cliches, which is nice. But both books, like for the first 50 pages, I'm just like trugging through. Like it took probably like 2 hours for me to read 50 pages, which is like twice the amount of time it would usually take. So I don't like that about her writing, but once it got into it, I was hooked. I could not stop. The plot twists, so good, just amazing. So again, this would probably be like a 4-star just because I can't with her introductions to books. The cliches and literary devices they're too much for me. Then I have a book that I read for my like work book club that I have with like my coworkers. This is Hyde, and it's a pretty short book, but this took forever to get through. This was not good. This was not good. Me and all of my coworkers were like, what? This is bad. First of all, it's 200 pages, but she starts out with like 18 characters, 16 or 18 or something. So you have to learn all of these characters right away, and it's very overwhelming. And I literally, at the end of the book, we would try to reference characters and we were like, what was their name again? And we just didn't know. And so since there were so many characters, it was hard to really build a connection to any of the characters because you were too worried about the facts of like, who's that again? So you couldn't get attached to anyone. And there wasn't really a plot twist. Like the plot twist was very meh, and I still don't really know. I still have questions about the ending. The ending like kind of left on a cliffhanger, and I think she did that so she can make a part 2, and I really don't want her to make a part 2 because I did not like it. I will say she did have some like little lines that I was like, yes, that's a good point. Not good, do not recommend. 2 stars, I'd say. I literally liked the American Roommate Experiment better, and that's saying something. Then I have You're Invited, which is another thriller. This one did not hold a torch to a flame. Hold a flame? You know that phrase. To the other 2 thrillers that I read. It was okay. I really enjoyed the setting. That I really liked. It takes place in Sri Lanka, and I don't know anything about Sri Lanka, and so for that reason it was very interesting to hear about the culture there and the traditions. The actual plot of this book dragged for so long. I was very interested in it for the first like 50 to 100 pages, and then we got to the middle and it was just like repetitive, and she wasn't giving you anything. She would tell you a bunch of these secrets that were happening, but then not like even give you the slightest hint to go off from, which I did not like. And then the ending, so dumb. so dumb. Literally made like, there was so many loose ends and it felt like I didn't know where it was going, and I feel like the author didn't know where it was going, and she just had to like wrap it up in the most cliche way possible. But it was okay because of the setting, and I like did enjoy the writing style. It was very like easy to read, but it did lag in the middle, and the ending was rushed and wrapped up, and I was reading the ending and I was like, oh, she's gonna do this plot twist and that's how it's gonna like connect and wrap up, and that would be so interesting. And then she didn't do that, and I was like, okay, you went with that instead? Okay, that's fine. So I don't know if it's a matter of like the editor or her, because I did like her writing style. I probably would read another one of her books, but that plot twist was so bad. It really wasn't even a plot twist. I don't know. So yeah, this is a solid 3-star book of, I liked the writing, I like the setting, I like a few things about it, but I don't like it overall. Now we're on to the last book. That happened quickly. I thought I had more, but I guess not. Electric Idol. This is in the like Neon Gods series. I don't know what the actual name of the series is, but the first book is Neon Gods, and then this one. And Katie Roberts is just the queen of smut books. Like, the spicy scenes are insane, and the characters are always like very lovable, both of the main characters. I did not like this as much as Neon Gods, but it was cute, nice to read, and it kept me on my toes, and is better than most romance books that I encounter. So probably like a 4-star again, just because it wasn't as incredible as Neon Gods, but again, very good. But I've heard that this book people don't love as much as the first and third book that she's written in this little series universe. So I'm excited to read Wicked Beauty in October and tell you my thoughts. So that was the video. Thank you for watching. I read 8 books, DNF'd 1, and it was a good time. So like, subscribe, all that stuff, and my dog is barking. Thank you for watching, and I will see you Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, and have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.